Guys, so I thought I would just hop on here and basically tell a story about an experience that I had when I first moved out here. And the reason why I'm sharing this experience is because I don't want other people to go through what I went through. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. So, I mean, if they want it, then they can have it. But so it all started when I came to New York, right? I was working at a grocery store and I met this guy, and like we hit it off really well. Um, we started hanging out more and more. I was going to college full part time and going to college full time and working part time. So I was out there all alone, all by myself, right? Going to college in a completely different state from my hometown. So I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. I was just starting out in this new chapter of my life. So I met this guy, and he was working at the same grocery store as me, oddly enough, right? And he eventually worked his way up to talking to me, and then he would come around more and more often, come to my part of the grocery store, and we would hang out and talk. And then eventually we started hanging out outside of work, and he brought me around somebody that he was already talking to, and so we were all hanging out. And what he was doing, I didn't realize it at the time, but what he was doing was actually trying to pivot towards me and basically kick the other person that he was already dealing with to the curb and in favor of me, right? But this is what this person does. And I didn't realize that growing up, that there are people that move this way. So as I'm telling you this story, I want you guys to realize the signs before it's too late. Okay, so as I got to know this person better, it seemed like he liked everything that I liked. He was really like, he was like just like me. You know how people do, like when they're trying to get close to you and they want to get to know you better, they want you to basically tell them how they should move around you, how they should maneuver around you, right? So they are asking for your interests. What do you like? What type of things are you into? What are your hobbies? What is things that you've been through in your past? What have you experienced? What are your goals in life? Do you have dreams? So this is the type of thing that this person was trying to get to know about me. And so as we spent more time together, he started learning more and more about me. And this person was on the verge of homelessness when I met him. So I was working. I had just moved into the neighborhood. I was like the new girl on the block. And it was like fresh meat, right? I didn't realize that this person was actually a shark. And I was like the fresh meat, right? So of course, me being the type of person that I am, I wanted to step in, not realizing that this person's being on the verge of homelessness was actually his karma. So I stepped in and basically took on that karma and basically saved him from homelessness. So I made that phone call and I got him a place where he could finally just not have to worry about where he was going to end up next. So I made a call to my landlord, found out whether if my landlord had any more rooms available, and basically made that connection for him so that he would have a place to stay. And so that worked out awesome. So I was there helping him move in to a property that was close to mine, like walking distance. And so he finally got that. He unpacked his belongings. I helped him a little bit. All he had really was like a few things and a dog. And it's crazy because usually landlords don't like pets, but his pet was allowed to come and move in with him. He was allowed to move in, basically. And soon after that, we really hit it off. We were like really good. And then one day we were hanging out. He started to miss work more and more. And he was always on his phone. And that's something that I noticed with people, is that they're always on their phone, but they don't let you look at their phone. Like, if you go to look at their phone, they'll smack it out their hand. They'll put it in sleep mode. They'll flip it upside down, so the screen side is facing towards the bottom, or like facing down. And that was one thing that I noticed about this person, that he was always on the phone with this girl. And he would talk to me, he would talk about me to this girl, and I'd be like, who are you talking to? And he was like, oh, this is my friend, I've known her since like 7th grade, blah blah blah. And they've known each other for a long time apparently, but they haven't met, right? But they're like long distance friends, and they've known each other for a long time, blah blah blah. He's saying like this girl is his best friend. And I'm like, and it was just an awkward moment because I didn't know any better. So I was just like, okay. And silly me, right? I was young. I didn't know that I shouldn't have went for that. I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time. So that is one big red flag. One big red flag is that he had this girl best friend, and they were always on the phone. She would give him money. She would do all types of things for this guy. And he would pillow talk to her about me. And he would be like, oh, I got this new girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And we would all hang out. It was just me. And then one day we were working at the grocery store, and our relationship just became rocky. It was like, he would verbally abuse me. Like, he would tell me to, like, I would just be trying to help him, and he would verbally abuse me. And it would make me cry sometimes. And then eventually it got to a point where he was actually putting his hands on me. And then one day, while we're at work, this girl shows up at his job, at our job, while we're all there. And he's like crying, and she's just like messing around with him in front of me. And then they go off while I'm there, and they're like having this moment together. And she's supposed to be his friend, but all of a sudden I meet her in person, and she lived states away. So she actually made that effort at that time, specifically, intentionally, to come into his life while he was in a relationship with me. And they were having something going on that I knew nothing about. But somehow this girl knew everything about me that there was to know. It seems, right? This girl knew where I lived. This girl knew where I worked. This girl knew things about me that I never told her. Like, I never even spoke with this girl. It was always, hi, bye. It was cordial. Like, I didn't know too much about her. And then one day she just magically pops up into my life. And so we all, after work, we all go together to his new place that I helped him get. And she sits down on the bed, and it's her and her mother and him, and I'm sitting on the floor, and like we're all talking, and then it seems good, and I'm like, okay, like I'm confused at this point. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. So I didn't realize that at this point. All I knew was I had a bad pit feeling in my stomach when I met this girl. Like, I just felt something was off about her. I don't know, like, why she even came, but after she came, she started visiting more and more. She would spend the night at his place, and he would spend the night at my place. So it was just a weird situation where he had some other girl sleeping at his place while he's in a relationship with me. And so this girl decides that she wants to move in. And so they're spending the time together, and he decides it's a great idea to just move her in. So he and I were sharing a bed together. He had that girl laying in her bed while he was in my bed. And it was just a crazy situation. Like, he wasn't telling me what was happening, and I was just like oblivious because I thought she was just a friend, allegedly. So he said that she was her best friend, his best friend, and there was nothing to worry about. But that's always a big red flag right there. So a few weeks after this whole thing started happening, this girl, she basically was trying to convince him to leave me. And so eventually that is what happened. He chose her over me. And she basically injected herself into the situation to break me up, like break me out of the situation, to have me cut out of the situation. So the way that they did this was like they came up with this elaborate plan behind my back. So they started slandering me, they started doing these horrible things to me, and I never even did anything to deserve this. Like, this is just like inhumane the way that they treated me. But where do I start? So these two, okay, so she had a car, and then she would park her car at his place that I helped him get. And he would talk to her, pillow talk to her about me. And he would say things like, oh, she's broke, she ain't this, she ain't that. And they would like go and talk about me to other people together. So they both ganged up against me together and started a bunch of gossip, a bunch of rumors, tried to make me look like I was this horrible person that I'm actually not. And he would get people to join him in this. He would get people to bully me, to harass me, to attack me. And one day, this girl just attacks me while I'm working at my job out of nowhere. And I don't know her. She just comes out of nowhere and she starts throwing hands at me. So people had it on camera. It was on camera and everything. It was a whole scene. And like, it was like she got away with it, it seemed like. So he eventually chose her over me, and he left me. And of course I was like sick. I was sick to my stomach. Like, I was heartbroken. I didn't know what I did to deserve this. I was only trying to help this person out, and he basically injected another person into our relationship, and that was the wedge that broke us apart. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I don't want you guys to go through this next thing that I went through. And I'm able to talk about it now because I'm in a place where I'm healed enough to be able to talk about it. But this was very traumatizing. So this next part that I'm about to tell you is, so eventually, as this kept happening, it got worse and worse and worse. Next thing you know, he was stealing things from me. He was getting information on me. He would sit outside my house and stalk me. He would find out where I was to basically ruin whatever I had going on. He would lie to me, to my friends about me. He would tell things about me that weren't true so that I would not have any friends, or I wouldn't move on, or people that I was talking to would like become disinterested in me and walk away. So he would like try to fight off me having a new life for myself and just moving on. So he would like follow me around, and even sometimes without me knowing, and sometimes I did know. And it's like he wouldn't go away, he wouldn't stop. He would stalk me, he would follow me around wherever I went. He would go into my phone, he would do all types of things. But when it came to me looking into his phone, he would throw his phone, he would like leave it at some place, he would lock it away to where I couldn't get to it. But he would be so adamant on going through my phone and trying to find things out about me. Who am I talking to? Where am I during the day when I'm not around? But it's crazy because the more that the less time he spent with me, he would spend with other people to make me feel like I wasn't good enough. And so he started just verbally abusing me even more. And the more this went on, it was just, it got to a point where he was actually putting his hands on me. And he took joy in this. I seen where he like asked me if he could punch me, like literally asked me. And then he actually did, and he found the sixth sense of enjoyment in doing so. So he like had a smirk, but I guess he didn't think that I could see or sense that he was smirking. But sometimes when people have bad intentions toward you and they see that you're in pain, they have a sick smirk about them. It's like they have like this side grin, but they don't think that you see it, but it's there. And so one day it just got so bad that we had a confrontation. I walked up to his place and he was there with that girl, and it was a confrontation. I did it 3 times. Third time we fought. We had an altercation, all 3 of us together, but when he saw me on the ground, he didn't care, but when he saw her cry, he ran to her. And that's what broke me the most, is because he told me that, like, he basically strung me along into the situation and then basically exalted her and brought her into a situation that she had no business being a part of. And he chose her over me. And so he pit us against each other and had us fight. And I guess I was on the losing end. And so I had to walk away. And I was humiliated, and I was ashamed, and I was heartbroken, and I was sick, and I was all these things, right? I had to go home alone, crying myself to sleep every day for years by myself. I spent my birthday staring at a wall in the dark the whole day. I didn't even eat or come out of my room. Nobody was coming to check on me or anything. And that's when I knew I had to leave. So he chose her over me, and all I knew was that I had to leave. I just remember that dark night when I was walking down an alley and I was screaming. They called the police on me, and they tried to have me put away. Both of them. And it was just like the ultimate betrayal, because I loved this person at a time. At one time in my life, I did everything I could to help this person. And knowing me, I am somebody that loves very deeply. And when I love hard, and I will do anything for somebody. And I guess this person realized that about me, so he came into my life and took advantage of that. So the reason why I'm sharing this story with you guys today is because I don't want you guys to go through this. This situation nearly put me in the hospital. Well, it put me in the hospital, but it also nearly put me in the dirt. So that was this person's intention when he got with me, was he was going to do that all along. He wanted me in the dirt. And that's when I realized that I had to leave. I had that one, it came to a point where I was on the ground screaming, pounding my head, and it felt like I was being set on fire. It felt like I was being electrocuted, like I was drowning, like I was like I couldn't breathe, and I was screaming and nobody could hear me. And all of a sudden I felt nothing, and it was like angels were surrounding me, and they told me, you have to leave. And I didn't know where I was gonna go. How could I possibly leave a situation where I don't even know anybody? I don't know where I'm gonna go. I don't have the resources or the people to get out of my situation, and nobody knew what I was going through. And maybe they did know. A few people did know, and they watched and they laughed and they humiliated me, and they said, oh, you'll never be anything. You'll never do this. You'll never do that. You're just nothing. They treated me less than human. They humiliated me. And I felt like Jesus on a cross. And I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but he was crucified. And that was a pain that I was going through. And somehow, some way, when there was darkness and I couldn't see my way out, God made a way. God showed me the path. I was riding in a car with somebody, and one day I just got a revelation. After I had already cut this person out of my life, after I swore up and down I would never go back, I would never, ever, ever let somebody treat me that way again, I finally made that call, and back to somebody that I had known before, and that call changed my life. 3 months later, I woke up in a new place. I woke up with new surroundings, surrounded by new people who are actually gonna love me, who are actually gonna treat me like human. And it was so foreign to me. I didn't know what to expect. I was so traumatized. I was so afraid. Like, even the slightest thing would make me flinch. And that's when I realized that my life had changed drastically. Overnight, it seemed like. Just yesterday, it was like I couldn't have imagined how I could have possibly got out of that situation alive. And from that point on, my life just started changing more and more. Things started happening for me. And it was like they were coming to me. Blessings started pouring upon me. And I met the love of my life today, who I'm now going to be married to. I live with this person, and we have a home together. We have a family together. We have all the things together that this person in my past swore to me, that promised me, but then gave to someone else, purposefully stole from me to give to someone else. I got that all back, and more than I could have imagined. And I just want you guys to know that God loves you, and he will bless you with more than you can humanly imagine. Especially when you're going through your storms, just have faith. Don't give up. Don't give in. Have faith that a path will show its way in the darkest of nights. A miracle will show, and miracles do happen because I've seen them with my own two eyes. Okay, I'm a walking miracle. And I tell people this all the time. They don't believe me, but I'm a walking miracle. I'm a survivor. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. I'm a soldier. I'm a vet. And people, they come into my life trying to test me. And it's like I've been on all sides of the same situation. So I know how things turn out for people. When they don't believe me, they just watch it happen. They don't have to believe me because I already know. So I'm just sharing this with you all because I don't want you guys to go through the same thing that I went through. I don't want you guys to have to take or go through a life-altering situation. That's something that could have crippled me for life. That was their intention. Sometimes people will come into your life to hurt you, to harm you, to cripple you, to distract you, to deter you, to defer your life purpose, because they know that you have a life purpose. They know that God loves you. They see the light in you. So you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself spiritually. Keep up good spiritual hygiene. Pray all the time. Have faith. Stick to the people that love you, because those ultimately are your people that are going to be there for you in the end. Those are the only people that are going to be there for you in the end. So I know this is kind of long, and I'm just really glad that I'm able to talk about it now, because it was really hard for me to talk about at one point. It was something that I couldn't talk about without my chest sinking. So I hope you guys take this story with you, or you learn something from it. Learn that not everybody has the right intentions when coming into your life. God knows what else this person was doing to me behind my back, and maybe I'll never know. Maybe I know that this person was doing foul things behind my back. This person was committing crimes with me, like towards me. This person was taking pictures and videos of me without my consent and sending them to people, making fake profiles and accounts, making countless accounts to watch me and stalk me through the internet. Even to this day, this person still does this. And I know this person and the person that he left me for, they both watch me obsessively, religiously. They watch all my profiles. They make accounts to do things underhandedly towards me. But again, I still rise, and no weapon against me shall ever prosper. No weapon against me shall ever prosper. All right, so it doesn't matter what their intentions are. I still rise. I am the phoenix rising from the ashes, and I could write books about my experience. So don't let people put you in a cage. Don't let people put that glass ceiling over your head. You are so much more than what they say that you are. You are who you say you are. You're not who they say you are. All right? So I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.